Guys, before we get into this video, make sure that you go and follow my second channel, Trap More Roths. Link in description. There are some fire videos over there. Head on over there and watch those if you haven't already. Anyway, on with the video. The Wu-Tang Clan are one of the most iconic rap crews in hip-hop history. Ever since they burst onto the scene in the 90s with their razor-sharp wordplay, their members have remained attached to their incredible body of work, like the family jewels being passed down from hip-hop generation to generation. Cash rules everything around me, protect your neck, gravel pit. The Wu have more hits under their belt than King Von does on the Op Block. But their influence on the rap game went far beyond just the songs that they made together as a group, because the visionary behind the Wu-Tang Clan, the RZA, knows how to move like a true mogul. And over the years, he expanded the Wu empire by signing a number of smaller up-and-coming rappers and bringing these hungry young spitters into the Wu family as both groups and individuals under the banner of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees. Now, over the years, there's been so many rappers associated with the Wu as Killer Bees, I think it would be reasonable to call them a swarm. However, history hasn't necessarily been kind to all of the Wu-Tang's Killer Bees. You know what I'm talking about. So, without further ado, let me tell you the story of Christbearer, the Wu-Tang Killer Bee who chopped his dick off. North Star is a rap duo composed of Miko the Pharaoh and Christbearer. They're closely affiliated with the group the Black Knights and would sometimes record together under the name Black Knights of the North Star. Hailing from California, this crew of future Killer Bees became one of the few West Coast groups that RZA signed to the Wu-Tang record label back in the day, apparently inking a deal with the Abbot himself after running into the RZA in a chance encounter outside Sway's show.
I met them outside the Wake Up Show years ago.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Coming down from the Wake Up Show with a bunch of rappers waiting downstairs to meet us.
So it was actually in 1998 that the Wu-Tang released the first Wu-Tang Killer Bees project, a compilation album called The Swarm. North Star were featured on the tracks Punishment and Fatal Sting, and after proving themselves on the Swarm project, the RZA put them on in numerous ways in an effort to give them more exposure. In 1999, they appeared on the track For Show, alongside the RZA on the soundtrack of the movie Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, which was also produced by the RZA himself. And being part of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees allowed North Star to network within the Wu and appear on projects with other Wu-affiliated acts. They appeared on Papa Wu's 2000 project Visions of the 10th Chamber, popping up on the track Simply Ludicrous. In 2002, the next Wu-Tang Killer Bees project dropped, titled The Sting, and North Star were all up on the posse cut Woodchuck. Then they popped up on the 2002 album by Wu affiliate Warcloud called Nightmares that surfaced from Shallow Sheep, on the track Vicious Killer Bees, with all of those placements leading up to their self-titled debut album North Star in 2004, a project which was even produced by the RZA himself under his Bobby Digital moniker. This was followed up by their 2005 sequel West Coast Killer Bees, as well as more appearances on prominent Wu albums, like the track Creep on RZA's 2008 Digi-Snacks album, Warcloud's 2008 Nightmares Repeat EP, on the track All Your World. In many ways, the career of Christbearer of North Star was pretty unremarkable. He'd gotten well connected with the Wu-Tang Clan and spun his affiliation with them into some decent appearances on well-respected rap projects, but there was no breakout hit to take him or his group into the mainstream. He landed a solo W by featuring on the song When the Guns Come Out, alongside WC and E40 from the Blade Trinity soundtrack, also produced by RZA. He dropped a solo EP called Passion of Christ in 2006, and he'd appeared on a 2008 track with the Monster Mob called Strong Arm. He was getting busy on songs, but frankly, he wasn't necessarily good enough to really break into the mainstream of hip-hop. But that never stopped Christbearer continuing his passion and pushing projects well into the 2010s. In 2013, he dropped the solo tape Christbearer and the Killer Bees, along with a single and music video called The God. But really, Christbearer's rap career all seemed to lead up to one pivotal moment. Because on April the 15th, 2014, he would release the song and music video for a track called Ooh. And only one day after that, he'd be yelling ooh for good reason. In 2017, Miko and Christbearer from North Star were featured in a BBC Three documentary about this incident. And in that film, Christbearer went into detail about how his mother's tragic passing, under very traumatic circumstances, had forced him into depression and drugs.
I didn't know what the fuck to do, you know what I mean? And she passed. I bumped around doing drugs and everything, and I was fucking going down on a spiral. I was like, me? Depressed? Never. Because I never cried when mother passed away, you know what I mean? When we have mental health issues, we turn to drugs. Smoke this, have a drink. Man, you need to get high.
Christbearer actually went further than this in an earlier interview with DJ Vlad, where he said that he'd first used PCP at age 16 and became a regular user by just 21.
I tried maybe 16 and shit,
Okay.
But I didn't really take it rigorously and and made it part of my diet until 21.
He said in the documentary about him, after he became depressed after his mother's passing, he thought that having a child of his own might help him. But after his firstborn, he simply couldn't get off the stuff.
I ended up, deeming that, you know what, I need to have a child to fill this void. I had my first child, and then once I had her, I still carried on with like a lot of the drugs and PCP.
By the time of that fateful night in question, he had already had 2 failed relationships that had ended with restraining orders keeping him from seeing his children. And now, with a 3rd newborn child, he had been arguing with the mother of that child on this night, and apparently she had threatened him with his 3rd restraining order.
I just had my newborn, and then her mother was in Ohio, where she was saying, now you got another restraining order, nigga, So
late into the night of April 16th, 2014, Christ Bearer is at an apartment party, where he takes PCP, meth, MDMA, alcohol, and most dangerous of all, weed. And at a certain point in that evening, Christ Bearer's thoughts begun to turn dark. Distraught about being unable to see his 2 daughters due to his past behavior, it was at this point that strange thoughts began to swirl in his head, telling him that it was his penis that had gotten him into all of this trouble, and that the solution to all of his problems would be an instant vasectomy.
I was thinking my interaction with women have been just callous, with no moral code.
I said, I will fix this problem.
I see, my dick is out of control. I need a vasectomy.
So at this point, in a PCP-fueled frenzy, Christ Bearer went to the kitchen, grabbed a steak knife, and within a split second, he had cut his manhood clean off. And after the injury, with blood shooting everywhere, Christ Bearer frantically tried to take his life by jumping off of a 2nd-story balcony. At this point, his understandably distressed friends called 911, and that call eventually ended up going public.
Man, we have a friend that was over here, and he just with us. Damn, when he's talking this noise right now, we don't know if he's alive or not.
He in the car, but jumped off.
Yeah, like 2nd floor. God damn, I don't believe this shit. Hey, he cut his... You gotta come up here and cut his damn penis.
Sir, who are you talking to?
Penis off. I'm on the phone with 911.
However, in a surprising turn of fortune, not long after the jump, thank God, and also probably thank meth, Christ Bearer had survived the fall and came to his senses. So, after surviving 2 near-death experiences and after ingesting an unholy amount of Mexican mouth muck, Christ Bearer begun to get very irate and begun running around the nearby streets yelling, "Sans penis."
He's alive. He's calling right now, so I guess he's hurt. But you need to hurry and get here, man.
What's he doing right now?
Out there running wild in the alley, I'm telling you, man.
And with all of this going on, whilst his homie was still on the phone to the ambulance dispatch, apparently Christ Bearer even tried to get back into the party.
Open the door, don't open it. I'm not letting his ass in here, dude. They ain't coming in. Why you telling them we don't want him in here? They about to... Nigga, there's kids in there. Fuck what a fucking grown-ass nigga going through. Yeah. Stupid ass nigga, dude.
Honestly, I can't believe this guy tried to get back into a party after cutting his dick off. I struggle to get into a party if I'm not wearing dress shoes. Anyway, once paramedics got to the scene, Christ Bearer was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Hospital in critical condition, where doctors were unfortunately unable to save his knob. However, Christ Bearer was reportedly happy to be alive, penis or not. And I know the burning question that's on all of your minds, what's the equipment looking like now? Well, that's part of the story that has been changed a few times. In the BBC documentary, Christ Bearer told the crew that he had a fully functioning manhood, explaining that he can still have sex and he, quote, doesn't still wish he had all of his shit. But we know for a fact that it wasn't reattached, so from this I guess he's kind of thumbing in a stump. Elsewhere in the documentary he seemed to suggest that he still had his joint, but it's much smaller now, which to me suggests he at the very least still had, some of it.
Guess what, baby? Chopped my dick off. She's only 2 inches now. I chopped off more than my fair share of my penis.
Donkey today, for Thursday, April 17th, goes to a rapper that I've never heard of, but they said he's affiliated with the Wu-Tang Clan. Christ Bearer, according to the New York Daily News, cut off his penis and then jumped from a 2-story building. He didn't die, he's still alive, but doctors were not able to reattach his penis. Give Christ Bearer the biggest hee-haw.
That's it?
Yes, after enduring these tragic events, Charlemagne decided to give Christ Bearer Donkey of the Day, and going further to extensively roast this newly penis-lacking man.
Christ Bearer, Wu-Tang Clan affiliate, I don't know what your life was like before, but I guarantee it was better than it is now. First of all, you cut your penis off, then jumped off a 2-story building and didn't die, and doctors couldn't reattach your penis. So now you have to live life without your penis. What is life without a penis?
Meanwhile, the abbot of the Wu-Tang Clan, the man who had given Christ Bearer his deal in the first place, the RZA, was interviewed on the street by TMZ and gave a slightly more nuanced response than Charlemagne.
Thank you. Dude, have you talked to Christ Bearer since the incident?
Nah, man.
No? Have you reached out to him? How he's doing?
His family reached out to me. His sister's taking care of him, so I wish him the best, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Will he still be affiliated with you guys, or like you still be working together on some music or stuff, or?
Man, it's hard to predict what's gonna happen to Christ Bear, man. All I do is say we got our prayers out for him and his family.
A few weeks later, RZA actually appeared on Sway's show to give a slightly more honest take on the story.
Big story came out about the Wu-Tang affiliate that severed his own penis and jumped out of a window.
Listen, you can't even pluck your own joint without, you know what I mean? Like, this is a very sensitive thing right here. Blessings to his family. I hope he comes out of this alive. I hope he could find his, find his mind, because I think that's something that must have been lost to do what he did.
But of course, the man we really want to hear from is young stunt bearer himself. And about a year after the incident, he ended up doing an extended interview with DJ Vlad, where in my opinion, he didn't seem entirely well yet. At this point, he didn't seem to want to acknowledge that this incident was a suicide attempt.
You had a suicide attempt. Would you call it that?
Hell no. I call it a media misconception, of the truth. Another illusion, because I love my life so much. Anybody who knows me know my life is more precious than yours, all due respect. But that we said, no, I just was high.
He also referred to this PCP and meth-fueled party he was at as a rock star party, seemingly unable to confront how dark this nasty situation really was. At one point, he even spectacularly tried to blame cutting his own dick off on lack of sleep rather than the PCP.
Yeah, I was high off no sleep because I study rigorously, beyond religiously. And with that being said, I hang out on rock stars. So I was high off PCP, that was my main drug of choice. But I was hanging out with some white dudes this time, and they had some meth floating around. Yeah, and no sleep. That was the main thing, no sleep.
Hell, he'd even suggested that the RZA had been at that rock star party that night. But of course, he'd left early just before Dick started rolling.
My nigga RZA came through, on sexuality and shit. And then we had a lot of PCP on deck. And then we started, just had a PCP party and shit. You dig? And then I was so high, but I had a video out too, and I was so amped up to show RZA the video. I showed him the video. He had great response with it. He was like, this shit's dope. And he left and shit.
And then, in rather spectacular fashion, Christ Bearer attempted to sidestep the question of whether or not his penis was gone.
You don't believe everything you read.
Did you cut your penis off?
I did. I fucked up, my nigga, in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I didn't cut my penis off and shit. I get more pussy than the law allows. I probably get more pussy than you now, but I did cut a lot of my penis off due to the fact that it's not a myth that black men do. Gotta, I'm not gonna really go into too much,
so
but
just,
we hanging, so I'm still able to work with what I'm able to work with, and get it down.
Wow. He eventually elaborated that there was no reattachment, so we can at least understand that whilst he didn't cut the entire length of it off, a significant amount of the end was indeed unable to be reattached due to the damage he had caused.
Okay. But what I did was a lot of damage, so they couldn't really attach nothing but.
Hell, he even went on to say that he was proud of what he did because nobody else had done it before.
I'm the only man ever did what the fuck I did, and I'm proud of it, because why? In the annals of history, I don't think anybody ever did it,
For the record, that DJ Vlad interview with Christ Bearer is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Go check that out in its entirety if you want to see something truly bizarre. Anywho, at a certain point after Christ Bearer had recovered from the injury, it was time for him to move on with his life and his career. And you gotta give him credit. It takes a lot of courage to wear something so fucked up on your sleeve publicly. And for a brief period after this, he even tried his hand at stand-up, using the details of this incident as the basis of some of the world's most uncomfortable observational comedy.
One time I heard voices. The voices told me, cut your dick off. I said, what? You heard me. Cut your dick off. So I did. Folks, I don't care how you get. Once you chop off your penis, you so broke. Right the wait! I woke up the paramedics trying to find a post. I said, the post? Where you find my dick? You can't be black broke and no dick. That's like being white with bad credit, right?
So much like your boy Traplaw Ross, when he realized the stand-up scene wasn't for him, he tucked his tail between his legs and returned to the rap game. We thought Christ Bearer was dead, but he came back to the rap game. In a way, he's kind of like the real Jesus Christ, only with half a dick. So over the next few years, Christ Bearer would continue to release music, and he would market this music the only way he knew how, waiting for the TMZ paparazzis to come and ask him about his severed penis, and shouting out his music while he pulls out his little stump.
So what are you working on? You got any new music or anything out?
Yeah, I got the Andre Johnson, aka Christ Bearer, Miko, or the North Star. And I got the Great Adventures of Christ Bearer coming in August. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. You want to see what I got? Vivid, get at me, Vivid, get at me. Vivid, get at me, Vivid.
Thankfully, a Christ-bearer porno never hit shelves, but in 2015 he truly did get back on his music ting and begin to release projects quietly. In 2015 he dropped Jesus Christ Bearer Superstar. He dropped the extra music video where he even included a clip of the RZA talking to TMZ about cutting his dick off. In 2016 he released For Christ's Sake Volume 1. Volume 2 came out the year after, along with the music video for his well-titled track Some Shit You Can't Believe. And hey, it's good to see that chopping off your own penis doesn't see you completely outcast from the rap community, because people seem to still be willing to collaborate with Christ-bearer Knob or No Knob, as he appeared on the 2018 Retrofin project and song of the same name along with Shakarama Zulu. And in 2018 he dropped his final solo body of work, Keep Your Head Up and Your Eyes Open. In 2019 the RZA dropped in to do an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, and ended up speaking on the incident after being reminded of it by Dave Chappelle, who made a joke about guys chopping off their dicks that the RZA didn't initially understand.
Let's go to the hospital and cut our dicks off and make pussies out of them shits. What? Wu-Tang! Bow! Bow!
What does somebody do? They just, they just chop their dick off, Wu-Tang, bang! And they just keep going. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Right, yeah, I'm just walking on this elevator. I was like, oh shit! And then, so I don't think I found in the history of my study, I never heard of a man chopping his own shit off. This shit is biblical. You know what I mean?
Level, yeah.
So I'm already.
And in 2020, things came full circle when Christ-bearer reunited North Star and the Black Knights, the crews he joined the Wu family with at the very beginning, for the reunion project North Star of the Blackest Night. A project which featured an intro and production from the RZA himself, as well as appearances from Ghostface Killah and Capadonna, making it a bona fide Wu-affiliated project, proving once and for all that you ain't got to have a wang to be Wu-Tang.
Coming from the Wu, you know what I mean, from the Wu family tree, the Black Knights of the North Star, Rugged Monk, Crisis Sharpshooter, Big Miko, Christ-bearer Holocaust, you know what I mean, R.I.P. to Doc Doom, you know what I mean, Doc Doom is always going to be in the heart. These brothers been laying it down for a minute, yo. They've been to the school of Wu. They've been to the school of 36 Chambers, you know what I mean? And those are like fellow monks right there.
Laughter aside though, 2020 was actually a good year for Christ-bearer. He got married again to a woman he'd apparently only been dating for 6 months. Jeez. And according to page 6, his stump was fully functional on his wedding night. Wu-Tang forever, baby! So that's the story of the Wu-Tang rapper who cut his dick off. And I know there's a lot to laugh at in this story, and thankfully Christ-bearer is still alive today and able to laugh about this incident too. But this shit is no joke. This is a man who was clearly suffering from some very severe, unaddressed mental health issues. And these were unfortunately amplified by reckless hard drug use. It's all well and good for Charlemagne to dish out Donkey of the Day to someone that did some dumb shit, but if you have a little bit of a closer look at the story of Christ-bearer, it's really just the story of a troubled man who didn't get the emotional or psychological support that he needed in a really tough time. I'd like to think that most of my friends and family aren't a PCP-laced joint away from cutting off their own joint, but in these very difficult and very isolated times, it's important to check on your peoples. Make sure your friends and family aren't suffering in silence, because we don't always know what people are going through unless we try and be there for them. If I learned anything from this story, it's that. And also, stay the fuck away from PCP. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you hit like below. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please hit that sub button. I appreciate it. It means a lot. But if you want to get a little more of your boy, head on over to my second channel, Trap More Ross. Link in the description. This year is the year of Trap More, baby. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, and a lot of those videos I'm going to be living over on the second channel. So if you want to keep plugged in to all of the cool shit that I'm going to be getting up to in 2021, it's a Trap More Ross thing. Go subscribe. Appreciate everybody that made it this far. You guys are the best. That's basically it. Love y'all. Shout out to the patrons too. It's lit. Love you. Peace out. Bye.